It's Monday, August 9th, and we are on the 25 acres of Gardner land in Bellaire, Michigan. And my brother Gary is here with us. He came in his car, we came in the van. Last year he had this 100 feet of driveway put in. So we're camping out here. And the apple trees aren't ready to harvest yet, it only being August. But we have our chairs. It rained this afternoon. We tried to sketch out a little path, but we got lost. Gary went out himself and he did better. He used his brush cutter to cut a little path into the woods here, and he's putting up this pink tent that we borrowed from Laura so he can sleep tonight. We, of course, will sleep in the van. And our Michigan adventure has begun. There are a few raspberries along the way. They're not really big, but it's a nice little snack as you're walking along. Okay, here's Gary cutting a swath through the jungle.
Oh, swathing it up.
That whole thing is raspberry bushes.
Well, it's not because it isn't sharp.
Now Art's taking his turn. Well, Gary and I scout for raspberries. It's toward the end of their season, but enough to give you a little flavor as you walk along. Okay, here's the brush cutter machine demonstration. Just for my family. These guys made it all the way down to the lake. Cut 3 trails. This one goes to the boathouse. This one goes to the cabin and down to the lake shore. So the Conservancy guys were just here. They're gonna send us a new proposal. So I think we've accomplished a lot. Well, we're heading back after 3 long days of work. Very satisfying. Feel like we've done a good job. Okay, one last video before we take off. Gary and Art are gonna pull the tent out a little bit where it can dry off and we can pack it away. From the campsite, you walk down through here. That opens out into this grassy area, and you can go that way on one trail that we've made, or you can go this way on another trail. Let's go on this one. It goes through this cedar grove.
Wore his hat.
Now we're into the pine trees, and you can see that machine cut straight through this brush. Hey Arthur, good work you did. This is all raspberries. We also use the cutter to come through this big tall stuff. Make a nice path. We couldn't have done it without it. That and the chains. Also going through goldenrod. Our friend Dan told us that the deer eat up to a certain point on the pine trees, and that's why they're easy to get around. Here again we go through the path the big brush cutter made. So
We've arrived at the stream now. Bonnie's going to take the first shot across it. You can see it's pretty wet. And fortunately she just has sandals on. But she's tromping her way through there. And she's going to make it.
Dan's calling.
Just a minute, go ahead. And oh, oh, I lost her. Where's she? Oh, there she is. Okay, got it.
Dan is here. We decided to change the path, so
You can take any long ones that you find and throw them on that
okay.
path.
So we're going to use Gary's trimmer for a little bit to change this one. Now we're walking through a nice, this is pine and cedar wood. This is a lot easier to walk. You don't have to bushwhack a bunch of stuff, but it's harder to mark the trail. There's an open area with some trees. Of course, this trail will disappear pretty quickly because it's only mowed. Although our friend Dan that I've been talking about is going to keep it up for us. He keeps up the land in exchange for hunting rights. His name is Dan Arsenault. Then we get into the high fern bush. We've been through the berries and the trees, and now see what a nice path that cutter made through these tall ferns. Now that it's all cleared, we could wear our shorts and sandals. We've been pleasantly surprised that there's not many mosquitoes and no poison ivy and no ticks that we've seen, so that's been a real blessing. This used to be a bare open field. It's full of high ferns. If you go this way, you go out to Lessard's Lane. This is the road that was put in. Dan just told us it was put in the 30s. And this is the one that goes all the way down to the lake. This is where the most work was, where they had to cut out a lot of fallen trees and stuff.
Actually, it was the most work as far as chainsaw.
Yeah.
The other was a lot of work getting through all the brush.
And there's a lot of autumn olive or silverberry along here. All this wood we cut and hauled out from this section right here.
We didn't haul it out.
No, we hauled it over to the edge.
Especially the big stuff here.
Yeah, great big stuff.
Both sides. And then especially
See that tree? You cut it away, it was coming across.
there's one here, here's the other side.
This huge wood that was down and we had to cut up. Fortunately, we didn't have to do much to this big birch. It fell mostly off of the road.
Right, so it came across there. We had to still cut the path out here.
Yeah, we cut the path. And this is where we had lunch.
Yeah, this was our table.
Oh, I see. There's the root of the birch. That is humongous.
Yeah, that was our table for lunch.
And this one, that was leaning over and then you cut it and it split.
Yep.
And there's the rest of it over there. And all of this autumn olive we had to
Down here, this is the
tear out.
right here, not the little one, but this big one was the one that came down
Wow.
when I cut that.
So now we can finally see through to the lake. This lane goes out to the culvert. This lane goes out to the
Shack.
boathouse, which is all broken down. This one goes over to the shack. So we cut all this out.
What?
Art found that Spider-Man sheet in there. And this is what's left. This used to be a really nice cabin. I was in it when Uncle Vic used to use it for a hunting cabin. It had a bed and everything in it. He was a carpenter and he built it. But of course, if you don't maintain these things, they go to ruin. Here's at the water's edge. This is probably the most open it is, right here. And Gary was saying that this little part right here could be a little swimming hole. It has sand on the bottom. So there's another area. It's got some big logs in it.
Sit on right here. See?
Yeah, you could sit on there and play in the water.
But then you could come out here. Cause see, this is sand.
Yeah.
I'm in sand now. I'm sand.
It would be fairly easy to put in a pier here. You could swim off of and tie up a boat. So this is a nice little swimming hole, actually. It's a sandy bottom, and we didn't go out farther than
sandy to a point.
We could with our shorts on. And there's a birch tree fallen here that you could kind of sit on if you want to. And there's another tree here where you could either take it out or use it to play on. And so I think this is a nice little swimming hole. Okay, that's it for now.